Okay guys, here's the Chapter 2 review. This video is designed to help you prepare for the test. It's not a requirement to watch it, so it's not worth any points, but it's worth watching to help you score a better grade on tomorrow's test. So in number 1, we want to determine the intervals on which the function is increasing, decreasing, and constant. So increasing is going up from left to right, decreasing is going down, and constant is the horizontal portion. So an increasing part right here, we named the interval. It is going to the left. If you look at the arrow, it's going to the left forever, so that would be negative infinity. And it goes to, stops here, which you name the x coordinate that it stops at, which is negative 4. And please make sure to put a bracket with that to include the 4. The next part right here, from negative 4 to 2, is the constant part right here. So that would be negative 4 to 2. And then you have a decreasing at the end, and it goes from this 2 down forever, or to the right forever, to infinity. So from 2 to infinity. Number 2, we have a piecewise function. We want to determine f of negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, and 4. So there's 5 separate little problems in here. Now the inequalities tell you which functions to choose. So let's start off with f of negative 4. So we look at the inequality and go, okay, is negative 4 less than negative 2? Yes, it is. So I will be using 2x plus 1. So the inequality tells you which to choose. And I'm going to plug x in, or negative 4 in for the x. So it's 2 times negative 4 plus 1, which is negative 8 plus 1, which is negative 7. So next I move on negative f of negative 2. So negative 2, is that less than negative 2? No, it's equal, so don't use that one. There's no underline there. We would use this one here because of the underline here. They are equal. The second one that is saying choose, it's for the x values that are in between negative 2 inclusive and 3 inclusive. So that means there's my output. I'm putting negative 8. Now there's no x with the negative 8, so you literally just put negative 8 as the output. Okay, next up is f of 0. So 0 is in between negative 2 and 3. So again, my output, again, I just write negative 8. Next up, 2. 2 is not less than negative 2, but it is in between here, negative 2 and 3. So again, I have another output. F of 2 is negative 8. And then the last one, f of 4 is the x. So the first one, no, 4 isn't less than 2. Second one, no, 4 is not in between negative 2 and 3. Use the third one, 4 is greater than 3. So I'm going to use negative x squared. That'll be negative 4 squared, which is negative 16. Moving on to number 3, graphing piecewise functions. So the first one, to graph x plus 2, go to the inequality first. Actually, don't go to the inequality first. What you want to do is graph the line first. So you would have y-intercept of 2 and a slope in front of x of an invisible 1. Now, look at the inequality to tell you which part to keep. So it says keep the part where the x is less than or equal to negative 2. So we would go at negative 2 and put a closed circle right here. And we keep the part less than it So that would be to the left of it. So we want to get rid of anything up here. All right, next up, negative x squared. That would be, this is going to be it's a quadratic, so it's going to be a parabola opening down because you got the negative here. So we're just going to do a rough sketch here. Nothing too, actually my rough sketch is not as good as I want it to be. Okay, so then it tells me I have to keep the part between -2 and 2, so that would be open circles there. Bear with me here. This is not going to be the prettiest. So -2 and 2 for the x-axis, and then I'm going to keep the part in between them. So I'm going to get rid of the parts that are left of it and right of it. And then -4, that last one is just a horizontal line because it doesn't have an x. Okay, so horizontal. So it would go through, it would normally go through and look like that. However, we only want to keep a part of it that says x is greater than or equal to 2. So that would be closed dot at 2. So it actually closes this open circle, and then you draw your line going to the right. Next up, number 4, we're given two functions, f and g. In letter A, it wants me to add those together and keep the x there. Don't put in a number for x. So it would be 6x minus 5 plus 3 minus 2x. And we're just adding like terms. 6x plus -2x is 4x. Then -5 plus 3 is -2. In letter B, we want to do f minus g. F minus g. And subtract like terms here. 6x minus -2x. That would change to 6 plus 2 for double negatives. So that would be 8x. And then the constants, -5 minus 3 would be -8. Letter C, f, g of x means I want to multiply them. I'm going to FOIL and combine like terms. So first, outer, inner, and last. Then combine like terms, this drops down, plus 10x drops down, and add the constants. 18 minus 15 is 3. And then got to stop there. All right, next up, f of x is f times f. We're going to be foiling again. Foil and combine like terms. So first, outer, inner, and last. Combine like terms, 36x drops down. These add together to make -60x, and plus 25 drops down. Next, f divided by g, so make a fraction. F on top, and g on the bottom. Now, nothing can factor or cancel out or reduce here, so that's just my answer. Letter F is g divided by f of x, so it's just the reciprocal of the last one. And again here, you can't divide or factor anything out or cancel. Moving on, number 5. We're given a new function f, new function g. In this one, we want to do g minus f of -1. So now we have to plug -1 in for the x's. So again, it's g then minus f. So I'm going to do the g of -1 here. So that'll be 2 times -1 plus 1 is -2 plus 1 is -1. And then the f of -1 is -1 squared minus 3. -1 squared is 1. 1 minus 3 is -2. So then we can do the g minus f. Here's g minus f. That, of course, changes to -1 plus 2, which is 1. Number 6. 6a, we have two new functions, f and g. We want to do f plus g of 10. So f of 10 is 10 minus 3 is 7. G of 10 is square root of 10 minus 1, which is square root of 9, which is 3. And then we can do our f plus g. 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay, next up, f of 5 divided by g of 5. So f of 5 is 5 minus 3 is 2. G of 5 is square root of 5 minus 1, which is square root of 4, which is 2. And then we do f divided by g. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Just looking ahead at how much I got left. Number 7. This gets a little tricky here. This is, remember when we see the circles here, that is function composition. One function goes into the x into the other. So in A it says h of g of x. So that means you're going to take function g, and plug it into h in for the x here. So it's going to be parentheses x plus 3, then squared minus 2. And then we're not going to leave it there. We do have to simplify it. X plus 3 squared, we're going to write that twice and FOIL, and then combine like terms. So first, outer, inner, last, and then bring down your minus 2. Now we combine like terms. X squared drops down. Plus 3x is 6x, and then plus 9 minus 2 is 7. Okay, letter B is the reverse. G of h of x means we have to take h and plug it in for the x into g. Remember, it's the letter on the right goes into the letter on the left. So that'll be h into g. So x plus 3 becomes that. And then you can pretty much just add these two together, combine like terms. Okay, next up, letter C doesn't have an x at the end. It says h of g of 12. So what we want to do is take g of 12, get a result, and then plug that into x. So start off with g of 12. Okay, please don't confuse this with the previous page. Up here, when we did them separately and then added or divided or whatever with them, that's different. They don't have those little circles there. These on number 6 were not function composition. These were adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing functions. This, in function composition with that little circle, is totally different. All right, so g of 12. So 12 plus 3 is 15. Now we got to take the 15 and go into h with it. So h of 15. So h, that's 15 squared minus 2. 15 squared is 225, minus 2 is 223. And the last one, letter D, g of h of 8. So we're going to start with the h of 8. So So it'll be 8 squared minus 2. 64 minus 2 is 62. Now we take that 62, and now we're going to plug it in for the g. So g of 62 is 62 plus 3 is 65. And that's it, guys. Study up. Watch this again if you need to. And good luck on the test.